We're here to idea you, to fire up your curiosity and connect you with the people and ideas that shape our world. Watch, listen, understand, connect, and create. Let's move the human story forward together.
Hello and welcome to The Poetry of Science, a podcast which provides insight into new scientific research via the medium of poetry. I'm your host, Dr. Sam Illingworth, and each week I'll be introducing you to some of the latest scientific findings and sharing a selection of science-themed poetry. After all, we could all do with a little bit more poetry in our lives. In this episode, I'll be exploring new research, which has found that particulate pollution from coal is associated with double the risk of mortality than from any other sources. Invisible assailants, fine as dust, ride the winds. Unseen marauders born from the fiery throats of soot-stained cathedrals. Cities cloaked in greying shrouds breathe in their legacy of progress. The hearts and lungs of diligent drones bearing silent witness to every choking trace. A trail of echoes carried in the breeze. Whispers of lives lost too soon. Unveiling truths more rancid than the caustic scent that clings to the air. A fight not just for breath, but life itself. This poem is inspired by recent research published in the journal Science, which has found that PM 2.5, mainly from coal power plants, significantly impacts health, leading to heart and lung diseases and increased mortality risk, highlighting the need for stricter regulations. Fine particulate matter, or PM 2.5, is a mixture of tiny particles in the air that can penetrate deep into the lungs and even enter the bloodstream. Its sources include vehicle emissions, industrial processes and coal power plants, also known as electricity generating units, or EGUs. When people breathe in PM 2.5, it can lead to serious health issues like heart and lung diseases, exacerbating existing conditions and increasing the risk of premature death. Consequently, policymakers are focused on regulating coal EGUs to mitigate their impact on air quality, thereby improving public health and addressing climate change concerns. This research focuses on the health risks associated with PM 2.5 emissions from coal-fired power plants in the United States. By examining the fine particulate matter specifically linked to the sulfur dioxide emission of these plants, termed coal PM 2.5, the study offers a detailed analysis of its impact. The researchers used data from 480 coal EGUs and analysed Medicare death records over a period spanning 1999 to 2020. This encompassed an impressive 650 million person years, providing a comprehensive data set. The findings are alarming. Exposure to coal PM 2.5 is linked to a mortality risk more than double that of exposure to PM 2.5 from all sources. This resulted in approximately 460,000 deaths, accounting for a significant portion of PM 2.5 related deaths among Medicare recipients. The study not only quantifies the deadly impact of coal PM 2.5, but also visualises the contribution of individual power plants to this mortality risk. This research underlines the importance of stringent regulation on coal EGUs to protect public health. Now that you've heard the science, let me read the poem to you again. Invisible assailants, fine as dust, ride the winds. Unseen marauders born from the fiery throats of soot-stained cathedrals. Cities, cloaked in greying shrouds, breathe in their legacy of progress. The hearts and lungs of diligent drones bearing silent witness to every choking trace. A trail of echoes carried in the breeze. Whispers of lives lost too soon. Unveiling truths more rancid than the caustic scent that clings to the air. A fight not just for breath, but life itself. In this section of the podcast, I'd like to share a poem written by another poet on a topic related to the science that has been discussed so far. In this episode, I'll be reading Cold Delivery Man, written by Ramon Cote Bariba and translated into English by Craig Arnold. Ramon Cote Bariba, born in Cucuta, Colombia, is a renowned poet and writer, educated in art history at the Complutense University of Madrid, Spain. He has published 7 poetry collections, including Colsidem Pravetia and Los Fuegades Obligados, 2 books of short stories, and a biography of Goya. Cote's work extends to editing anthologies, notably of young Latin American and Colombian poets. Cold Delivery Man by Ramon Cote Bariba. Like finding a bar of aluminum wedged in a bull's jaw, like discovering in a sea chest a short obsidian head, like looking through a padlock and seeing an undeserved dawn, and impossible as all these, as melancholy and lonely was it to see the green truck that with the punctuality of a sacrament delivered the coal each month. On the slope its strained heart would announce itself vicariously at the brink of death, and it would stop in front of the house as if to deliver the agonizing news of the fall of Troy. And then a man wrapped in sacking would pitch his cargo, resonant and angular, into an orange-painted crate. Like opening a Bible and finding 3 levels of laurel, like lifting a stone and remembering someone's name, like finding the same snail again 100 miles away. As impossible as all these, as melancholy and lonely would it be to find 15 years later the same cold delivery man carrying on his trade, bent from the strain, determined to show the heavens that a man might do that his job his entire life, that he scraped in the mines, that he stole thread from his wife to sew his sacking, that he dreamed of infinite excavations, of tunnels, and that they might forgive him for not having done more than that. Thank you for listening to the Poetry of Science.
Thank you very much for being with us for this episode of the ideaXme show. ideaXme is a global platform. Our mission is to move the human story forward by sharing knowledge of the future. You can find us on all major audio networks at www.radioideaXme.com, on YouTube and Vimeo. Please subscribe.